Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. If you're the kind of person who loves understanding exactly how cutting-edge tech works under the hood, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're zooming in on a highly practical, honestly incredibly powerful concept, straight from Chapter 5, specifically pages 173 to 284 of Miguel Figueiredo's work on generative AI. Our ultimate goal for this session? Demystifying how we can connect a foundational large language model, or LLM, directly to an enterprise database to extract meaningful business data. We're going to take theoretical AI and turn it into a practical business tool, right before your eyes. Here's our architectural path for today. First up, talking to your data, followed by the tech stack explained, setting up SageMaker Studio, enter LangChain and Claude, querying with natural language, and finally, the power of GenAI. Think of this as a bit of a technical hero's journey. We'll start with a massive pain point, getting data out of databases, travel through the tech stack, set up our environment, introduce our AI translators, and arrive at a pretty magical conversational data solution. Section 1, Talking to your data, escaping the SQL silos. Okay, let's dive into this. For decades now, data engineers and business leaders have faced this massive hurdle, right? Valuable business data is locked away inside massive relational databases, and it is completely inaccessible unless you speak the complex syntax of SQL. If you want an answer, you literally have to write code or, sit around and wait for someone else who can. So I want you to really imagine this question. What if your enterprise database spoke your language? Imagine a world where instead of writing lines of code, you just type a normal, everyday English sentence, and a massive, complex database understands exactly what you mean and answers instantly. That's the exact reality we're exploring today. Just think about the stark contrast between the old way and the new way. Traditionally, to find out something as basic as how many rooms are available, you have to write rigid SQL. You have to know the exact table names, the obscure column abbreviations like H and O, and the mathematical functions to run. But contrast that with natural human intent, simply asking, how many free rooms are there in Congress Hotel? It's clear, it's direct, and it requires zero technical training. Bridging the gap between rigid database syntax and natural human language is exactly what generative AI does best. Section 2, the tech stack explained, the tools of the trade. To build this bridge between human language and database logic, we obviously need some powerful allies. Our ecosystem relies on two major pillars here. First, we have SAP HANA Cloud. This is our robust, enterprise-grade database management system. It's where all the crucial, structured business data actually lives, things like hotel names, room availability, maintenance records, the whole shebang. Second, we have Amazon Bedrock. Bedrock is a fully managed service offering high-performing foundation models. For our scenario, Amazon Bedrock provides the AI brains via the Anthropic Claude LLM, allowing us to enable conversational data analysis securely and at scale. Moving on to Section 3, setting up SageMaker Studio, connecting the pipes. Now that we know our tools, we need a workshop to put them together. The setup phase is straightforward, but absolutely critical. We're talking a brisk, high-level walkthrough here. First, we log into the AWS console. From there, we launch Amazon SageMaker Studio, which gives us an interactive Jupyter Notebook environment. And finally, using just a bit of Python code, we import our dependencies and establish a secure connection directly to our SAP HANA Cloud instance. And this brilliantly illustrates the foundation of our project. By successfully initializing the database connection, the Python script connects to the SAP HANA endpoint, passes the credentials, and runs a quick test SQL command, selecting data from our hotel table just to prove that the pipeline is fully open and the data is flowing. We are officially wired in. Section 4. Enter LangChain and Claude, the magic translators. With the pipes connected, we need something to actually facilitate the conversation. We need our magic translators. These components act as a true bilingual translator, fluent in both human intent and machine logic. First up, we have LangChain, which is an incredible framework designed to orchestrate the different steps of our AI application. Next, we have Claude, our LLM accessed through Bedrock, which possesses the deep linguistic understanding to interpret our natural language prompts. Together, they utilize something called a SQL database chain. This is the crucial link that takes the human intent Claude understands, translates it into an actionable SQL query, runs it against the database, and then hands the answer right back to us. Section 5. Querying with natural language, from simple to complex. It's time to actually see this tech stack in action.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contrast and complexity. Say you ask a fairly straightforward question, like, how many hotels are there in Seattle? The AI instantly generates a simple count query, filters by city, and tells you there are 2 hotels. Easy enough, right? But then, imagine asking a complex relational query, something like, what are the maintenances done at Congress Hotel? This is so much harder. The AI has to figure out that it needs to look at a maintenance table, realize it needs to join that with the hotel table using a common ID, and then filter by the name Congress Hotel. And it does it flawlessly, writing a complex multi-table SQL query just from our simple conversational question.
Let's slow down for a second and look at exactly what is happening under the hood here. When we ask for the total free rooms at the Congress Hotel, this is not just a simple keyword search. No, the LangChain SQL agent is actively reasoning. You can actually see the AI logging its thought process, literally saying, thought, to find out how many free rooms there are, I first need to check the schema of the room table. It then lists the schema, identifies the free column and the hotel ID column, and constructs the perfect query. It is mathematically reasoning through the database structure to find your exact answer. It's wild.
To break that down really clearly, the AI isn't just guessing here. It follows a rigorous, logical flow. First, it checks the database schema to understand what data even exists. Then, it selects the relevant tables and columns based on the context of your English question. It generates the SQL query, and crucially, this is important, it uses a query checker to validate that the SQL is correct before it even tries running it. Finally, it executes the query and formats the raw data back into a polite, human-readable sentence.
Section 6. The power of GenAI, transforming data exploration. This brings us to our final takeaway. What we are looking at isn't just a neat trick. It represents a massive paradigm shift in how organizations will interact with their business data moving forward. Because one of the most powerful aspects of this AI integration is how it handles reality, specifically when things aren't perfect. For instance, when we asked about maintenance records for the Congress Hotel, well, that data doesn't actually exist in our sample database. Instead of throwing a massive, confusing system error or just crashing the notebook, the LLM intelligently handles it. It runs the proper join query, sees there are no results, and gracefully reports back in plain English, based on the sample data, there are no maintenances recorded in the database for the Congress Hotel. I mean, this level of reliability saves data analysts hours of manual troubleshooting. So the crucial point is perfectly captured in the source material by Miguel Figueredo. By integrating a generative AI LLM with tools like SAP HANA and Amazon Bedrock, we completely transform and improve the user's experience. We've essentially taken data exploration out of the hands of just the developers and the database admins and put it directly into the hands of anyone who can simply ask a question. And that leaves us with a fascinating thought to wrap up our explainer today. We have successfully built the bridge. We've proven that your database can actually understand you. As generative AI continues to seamlessly bridge the gap between human language and machine logic, the technical barrier to insights is practically gone. The only real limit now? Your curiosity. So what conversations will you start having with your enterprise data? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and as always, keep asking great questions.